Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Today, we want to talk about pre-approval versus pre-qualification, and should you get your rate held before next week's rate announcement? Josh, thanks for joining me. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Jay. Thank you.
Great. So that's a big question that a lot of my buyers have had right now, and I've had a lot of conversations about this, so I thought it'd be a great time to talk about it. Let's talk about like the most common objections to maybe buyers being aware or scared of maybe getting a pre-approval too soon. Some of the common thoughts about why they should or shouldn't do it, and maybe you can just jump us into objection number one.
Absolutely. There are a lot of buyers that want to just kind of have an idea of what they could qualify to buy, trusting that everything else is going to be okay. So we call that a pre-qualification, where we're running through your numbers. We're not verifying anything. We're not checking on your credit. We're taking your word on everything. And we're hoping that interest rates are the same or better at the time that you find a house than they are at the time we're doing that initial analysis. So it often does make sense for us to get a full pre-approval for you where we can get a mortgage rate hold. Those rate holds are good for 4 months, but your pre-approval is good for as long as the situation doesn't really change. However, there are some objections, so we're going to go over those here. The first big objection that we tend to see or hear is that, well, the Bank of Canada is about to start lowering interest rates. So I want to wait to do my pre-approval and my rate hold until after the interest rate drop has happened. But the truth is, it's not really guaranteed whether or not the Bank of Canada is going to lower its interest rate. Yes, the next announcement's the first week of June, June 5th. The next one after that's in July. If the Bank of Canada lowers its rate on June 5th, we will likely see some downward movement on the fixed interest rates. The good thing about it is, if we already have a rate hold for you, we can get another one. We can update it to the new lower rates. But if the Bank of Canada does not lower its interest rate or sends messages that it's deferring or putting off when the interest rate drops are going to happen, that actually could result in, and has recently resulted in, interest rates coming up for a little while. If we can get your rate lock in before interest rates go up, that's also a win for you. So there's no risk, because if rates go down, we can still get the lower rate. But if rates go up, we've lost out on that. There is no risk to you in doing a rate hold before the Bank of Canada makes its next rate announcement. The next objection that we often will hear is that it's too much work, or I'm not sure. What if I don't find a house that I want? I want to find a home first and then come back and do the rate hold. Jay, that's a problem that you hear quite often, right? People want to go and find the home, and then when they find a home, what happens?
Yeah, this happens all the time. And so basically, and I don't do it now. I don't work with people unless they have their pre-approval done, because I've had too many experiences where we go out, it takes forever to find the right house. They find the house, they fall in love with it, and then they're too long in trying to get their mortgage approval done, and they can't get funding in time, right? So they can't close the deal fine, they can't negotiate strongly. And the seller, they're going to choose someone who's already pre-qualified and has a shorter condition time.
Several times recently, I've been asked, not only by you, but by other realtors representing clients that I'm working with, for a pre-approval letter. So they're making an offer. Sometimes it's competing offer situation. They're trying to position their offer to be better. And having that pre-approval letter really has gone a long ways. And we've seen several people be successful in getting their offer accepted because we already had that pre-approval in place. And you know what? It doesn't take too long to get it ready. It's maybe 20 minutes to do the online application. We talk about it for maybe another 20 minutes, and there might be a few steps to go and gather some of the paperwork. And truthfully, if that paperwork takes a little bit of time to get, at least now you know what the process is. So if we do need to update that paperwork once you find a home, it's a very seamless process. Again, no obligation, no risk to getting that pre-approval done. And we can get you a guaranteed ceiling interest rate, meaning if rates go up, we've already capped the rate. But if rates come down, we're going to snag that lower rate for you when you do find a home. And it allows you to be prepared to act quickly when you do find a home, which will help you better with that negotiation. And we can shorten up the timeline for confirming your financing when you do make that offer, which is huge. That even if your offer is slightly less, a shorter timeline might be enough to get your offer accepted. The third objection that we're hearing is, I don't want to hurt my credit score by getting my credit checked. Well, the reality is, if you're going to be buying a home, you're getting your credit checked anyway. If you're getting your credit checked by a mortgage broker for mortgage purposes, it's a very low risk inquiry. Yes, it's still a hard hit on your credit, but each type of lender has a different code with the credit report agencies. And as a mortgage lender, the severity of our inquiries into your credit is much lower than, say, a payday loan company or anything that would be deemed higher risk. So having an inquiry for mortgage purposes is a lot less of an issue than some of the other ones. Additionally, if we do have to update your credit report because it's gotten too old, if we do it within 45 days, or if you've already checked somewhere else and you don't want to check again, if it's all within 45 days, it actually counts as only one credit inquiry as long as it's all under the code for mortgages. So that's also good. And the last thing is we can find out if there are any issues with your credit, and I can properly give you advice on how to get your credit to where it needs to be if it's not there already, long before you're in the position of buying a home, and then it's too late to try to fix that credit. So those are kind of the three big objections. But what are the benefits? Well, again, having that pre-approval with a rate hold in place is going to protect you against increases in rates. I know we keep talking about how rates are supposed to be trending down, but several times in the last several months, we've seen rates bump up, even just briefly, because rates change on a very regular basis whenever new economic data comes in. So we can grab those lower rates for you and not have to stress about a small or maybe even temporary bump in rates when you do find a home. It's going to provide you stronger negotiating power when you do find that right home. We can provide you with that pre-approval letter, and that can increase the likelihood of your offer being accepted. And then you can also go forward with clarity and confidence, knowing that when you do make that offer on a home, it's not going to be financing that is the reason it doesn't work out. So lots of reasons to go ahead with your mortgage pre-approval and rate hold. Even if you're not certain that you're going to go forward, there's no risk and only benefit to you.
Yeah, for me, I think the thing that always is the most sort of exciting to learn about sort of mortgages is, like, even if it's a neutral rate announcement next week, there's still a chance that the fixed rate could rise as a result, as a reaction, right? So there's no sense to me at all to not hurry up and get the pre-approvals done, get the rate hold done. And then you can shop with confidence. I love going with buyers who know exactly what the house is going to cost them. They know if they can afford it, and it eliminates a lot of stress when we're looking at properties. So definitely, I would encourage you to reach out, get a hold of us. Josh will meet with you, get your pre-approval done, and then we can go out and do the fun part, and that's like looking for these houses. So thanks for joining me today, Josh. Next week we're going to be back as well. Follow us every week. We release these videos for you. Hopefully you find them entertainment, a little bit educational. Click the little bell. Follow us, like us, subscribe to us. We can't wait to see you next week.